the mind is the limit. As long as the mind can envision the fact that you could do something, you can do it. As long as you really believe it 100%.
That was funnier than when you did it before there.
Welcome to the Fitpreneurs, the show that will help you flex your business muscles so you can make more money and live the life you really want. No more complaining, whining, or being a wimp. It's time to pump up your fitness business and push yourself beyond your comfort zone. So no girly man or lazy ladies allowed. It's time for me to do some push-ups and turn things over to my friends AJ Roberts and Simon Lovell. Hasta la vista.
Hey everyone, this is AJ Roberts.
And this is Simon Lovell.
And we're super excited to be here today on the very first The Fitpreneur podcast. Simon, how you doing?
I am awesome. Here in the wonderful UK in Bath. Sat here wearing my onesie with some toilet roll.
I'm not going to ask what the toilet roll is for, but figured you would...
I have a bit of a cold.
Oh, okay. I was thinking we probably need a little catchy hook or something to go with the Fitpreneurs. We'll have to throw something up on the Facebook page this week and get our listeners to vote on what they think this should be about. But really, if they're listening, they're probably wondering what the heck's the show going to be about. So, why don't you give them a little bit of inside information on what we're going to be talking about here?
Well, Fitpreneurs is all about creating the lifestyle that you want as a fitness professional. In the many years that I had been a personal trainer, if I had access to this kind of material in terms of marketing, sales, and really building the lifestyle that you want, then that would have really have helped me. And so this is really about, for you guys listening, is turning up the heat and creating for you the lifestyle that you want as a fitness professional. AJ, why don't we just go into kind of our backgrounds and why you got into the industry, why we got into the industry, because I think there's some important lessons there that other people are going to find motivating.
Yeah, let's start there, and then we can talk about why we came up with this show, why we're even doing this show. But for me, I got involved in the fitness industry very young. I was actually in high school. My senior year, I wasn't able to participate in sports because of a ruling, and the Oregon school board didn't allow me to participate because I was a second-year foreign exchange student, and that meant that for that year, I was working out with the teams, but I wasn't actually able to play. And so I was really into the weightlifting stuff and lifting weights. And so I started to study the Bigger, Faster, Stronger program, as some listeners are probably familiar with. And from that, I ended up programming in high school for our high school football team. And I had some software and stuff to help. It wasn't like my coach just let me go at it. But, that's when I began programming. And so I fell in love with it then and went to college with the thoughts of, being a strength and conditioning coach, volunteered Division I level for 3 years there. And during that time, really saw the private sector of the industry and, decided I didn't want to stay in collegiate sports, mainly because the opportunities there were so low. And I got involved in the fitness industry and stumbled across Ryan Lee, who is a mentor to many. Went to one of his events thanks to Eric Cressy, who invited me out. I actually spent the night on Eric's couch in Boston and ended up driving over there to Ryan Lee's boot camp with him. And at that boot camp, that was when I realized that this is my place, this is where I needed to be. And, that was what started that process of wanting to own my own gym and have my own products and all these things. And so straight out of college, I opened a small sports training facility, and unfortunately I had the mindset, if I build it, they will come. And as many of you probably know or experiencing and maybe going through it right now, that's not quite the way it works. So, and long story short, I started looking to hire consultants to help me figure out the business side of things. And I came across Pat Rigsby and Nick Berry, and they invited me out actually to Kentucky, and I ended up taking a job with them running their health club. And from there, ended up working with them with their online businesses. And together we grew over 12 unique businesses, both that served business to business, for fitness professionals and also end users with info products. And, after that, went my own way, started launching people, got involved in the internet marketing space, simultaneously became a world record holder in powerlifting, and, full circle here back doing this show with you. And, I've been running seminars for CrossFit for the last year or so, and talking a bunch of seminars this year. So, not to ramble on, but that's pretty much my background in the industry and, why I'm so passionate about fitness. It's pretty much my whole life.
Awesome. And I know that we're going to be talking about CrossFit and powerlifting and lots of different things, and it's going to be interesting to get different people's views on the different disciplines, because there's obviously in the fitness industry there's a lot of different thought processes and a lot of different opinions, and we're going to be touching on some of that, but also the majority of things we're going to be touching base on here are going to be the business, marketing, and sales. For me, I actually started off in the video game industry. At the age of 16, I went to work on national magazines and kind of ended up becoming really kind of overweight, lacking in confidence. During that period, you used to, get the PR people in the game companies used to take you out and drink a lot, and it was just that kind of culture. After trying a couple of times to get into the police unsuccessfly, I had that kind of turning point, and I decided that what I really loved to do was go to the gym, and that's what I had done. A kung fu teacher took me under his wing and got me exercising, and then I became a personal trainer, spent 3 months in Cyprus, and during that time really fell in love with process, came back to Exeter and embarked on my personal training career. A few months in, my clients were getting awesome results, but they said to me, Simon, we're getting results on the fitness side of things, but what about the nutrition? And so what I used to do as a trainer was eat from a lunchbox, because I was never short of clients, and I had back-to-back clients pretty much all throughout the day. And so in order to eat properly, I had to kind of eat from a lunchbox just to kind of pick at food, and that was really great for maintaining my weight, also good for my energy levels. And so I put together a simple document for my clients called the Lunchbox Diet. And to cut a long story short, that turned into a 6-figure book deal with HarperCollins after turning the 13-page ebook into a printed book, and then got involved in marketing. I was always really passionate about marketing, and then turned that into an info product business, and then started helping other fitness professionals do the same with their information products, and then helping them to get more clients and really create the lifestyle that they want. So that's what brings me here today. AJ, I think both of us have kind of got these kind of stories, but this whole podcast has come about. Do you want to kind of start telling the story of how it came about?
Yeah, what's funny, you were talking and going through your story, and I realized I got to do a better job with my USP, and we'll get into that kind of stuff later. But, ultimately, we met because of marketing. You came to me, we were sitting at CrossFit Games, actually. You had reached out to me and said about going, and I was like, yeah, dude, come. And we ended up hanging out, and you had an info product that you guys were about to launch, and, we ended up partnering on that and building that out. And that's what brought us together, was the marketing side of things. And so, everyone has their story in the fitness industry, I think, why we love it and that. But, when it comes to marketing, there's nothing more powerful for yourself, for your business than the marketing. And that's really my passion. And that's, Simon's passion. And that's why, really we're excited to be here. And it's funny how this all came about. Simon was over here visiting San Diego, and my buddy Nick Unsworth had an event in town, and he had invited me to come down and hang out and to meet his tribe. And so, because Simon was here, I told him maybe you should come along. And so Simon ended up coming along, and we were at the event. It was in the evening. We were sat down at the bar and hanging out with our other friend, Marshall Wayne. And we were just talking about building tribes and, how do you create this loyal following? And we started looking at different businesses that have really done a great job of this. And what they typically do is they create their own language within the business, right? They have their own words. They have secret words, and they have ins that, stories and things that only the people who are part of that community understand and get. And it's kind of this like insider, like boys club type atmosphere. And so we were just talking about stuff, and Simon said, I want to create something like that for fitness professionals. So we just started throwing words and names, and things came out, ideas out there. And I said, what about Fitpreneurs? And actually, Simon, you didn't really like that name at the very beginning. I remember you umming and ahhing over that.
Yeah, I didn't, but I kind of, it kind of grew on me. And actually, it fits really well with entrepreneurs and kind of fitpreneurs, and it kind of really works now. So I kind of got the brand developed. We used 99 Designs, a bit of iStock photo, put together a really captivating kind of brand. And then the podcast kind of just was your kind of suggestion, and here we are, and I think it's going to be fun. This is the first episode. I think it's going to we're going to be growing a lot into it. We are going to be building it out based on, you guys listening. It's going to be built based on your feedback on what you want, but also on our knowledge and how we can accelerate your growth in the industry, because this is more than about marketing. It's more than about sales. It's a lot about mindset, about personal growth, and the stories that have shaped our growth over the years that can really help influence you. And so by listening to this podcast on a regular basis, you're going to be really able to move forward at a much faster pace, because you're going to have this support from us and the rest of the Fitpreneur community, and we'd really like you to be a part of that.
Yeah, you ran with the idea after we talked about it. It all kind of sunk in. You ran with the idea, went back to England. And, I was sitting at home and I went to dinner with a good friend of ours, Neil Gupta, and we were just talking about, purpose in life and what it is we're supposed to be here for. And he was talking about the fitness and the marketing. And he said, why are you not doing that? Why are you not helping people with that on a grander scale? And we've discussed many times the different plans we have. And so I just suddenly realized, man, Fitpreneurs is something that we love. It is something we're passionate about, helping fitnesspreneurs live the entrepreneurial dream. We're both involved heavily, and having worked together before, I knew it was a perfect fit. So that's why, I called Simon up and I said, dude, we got to do this together. We got to blow this up. I want to launch a podcast. I want to have a platform. I want to build a tribe. I want to give back to the community. And, he was 100% in right from the beginning. And so, we're both so passionate about this, as I'm sure most of you listening can probably tell. We're so passionate about this, about helping fitness professionals live that entrepreneurial dream, so they can transform more lives, have more impact, and basically do the thing they're passionate about. It just seems like a perfect storm here. And, like you said, this is the first of many. It's only going to get better from here. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited to do this.
One of the things that, and a couple of the strengths I think that we both have, which other people can learn from in this respect, is taking fast action based on ideas. For those listening, this idea of the podcast came up probably about 7 days ago. And so
Actually, it was Wednesday.
Okay, so Wednesdays to Sunday. So the reason that I think where we are today is because of the speed of action. And so, guys, when you get ideas, when you get those thought processes, when you're in your shower, when you're wherever you are where you get ideas, it's very important that you are fast to act on them. Ignore resistance and move as quickly as you can with the ideas. Sometimes things aren't going to work out, but when they do, you can really gain a lot of momentum. And I know that resistance is something which I've been studying a lot more, and I know that AJ is a big advocate of in learning more about that.
Yeah, you know what? I did a whole presentation last year at the Underground Online Seminar, which is another one of my businesses where I run with Yannick Silva. We should get that presentation up, and we can share that in the links on the website, thefitpreneurs.com, underneath this first episode. That will probably help there as well. But going back to what you said about massive action, we came up with the idea Wednesday. We collaborated on the idea. I think I spent the majority of Thursday studying podcasts, how to launch a podcast, best way to do it, and sent you over a huge document with here's everything we need, here's what we need to go, and ordered everything from Amazon, and set it up. Here I am at home. There's things that we did audio tests and all this stuff before the call, and there's things that obviously we will improve upon as we go. But at the end of the day, we're here, we're recording, we're getting it done. We still have some things to do to get this in place. With the website's not built right now, by the time you listen to this, everything should be in place. But intro music, all these things that we still have to get. But we weren't going to postpone recording. We weren't going to postpone the podcast just while we figure out the minute details. And I think that's the opposite approach how most people go about getting things done, is they try to figure out the minute details first. And then that creates such, anxiety and such overwhelm that they end up not doing the big picture. And at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing to remember for each person listening and for ourselves is that we're the experts on a certain topic. And so if you're a fat loss expert or if you're a strength training expert, that's your number one thing. And so your job in your message in life is to share that. All right. And so when you start getting into the tech and you start getting into the nitty gritty, that's what's going to slow you down. And so my biggest advice is go find someone who can teach you the fastest. And I went to my friend James Shremko and basically, went through his product, picked his brain a little bit through email, basically sent him over, here's what I got. Am I missing anything? I didn't, ask him for ideas and stuff. That's the worst thing you can do is just when you pick someone's brain is try to leverage the knowledge. But basically I was just checking, make sure we had everything in place. And, we're not going to, after this, we're going to send this off and we're going to have a team edit it and put it all up for us. Because again, it goes back to that speed of implementation, and that's how you're going to move forward quickly in business is when you eliminate those things that hold you back. And I think that, for any fitness professional out there, at the end of the day, you have to remember you are a trainer. You are someone who gets results. You are a transformation expert, I guess, is the biggest way to group it. But that's the message you have to get out there. And so ignore the minute details, move fast. If you fail, you fail, you'll learn something from it, but get someone who can help you or find the thing you need in order to move forward. There's so many sites out there you can use where you can find editors and you can, we're going to use Fiverr, we're going to use Odesk, we're going to use a whole bunch of places to get what we need. And these are what I call $20 jobs. It really doesn't cost a lot for you to get this stuff up and going. And so if you have any ideas that you're trying to move forward on, I suggest that basically you just jump in and you go big picture and the rest will fall into place.
Yeah, and something else on that. I mean, I am on a scale of like 1 to 10. I am like a 9 tired right now, but I've just come back from America, 5 weeks in America. My body clock is all over the place, but we committed. We said, look, we're going to do this. We're going to do this on a weekly basis. AJ was like, Sunday night, we're going to get this recorded. Things aren't going to go perfect. We might listen back and go, oh, do you know what? There's some parts of the show where, it's a little bit off, but imperfect action is the key. And so if you're looking for everything to be perfect, that's why many people don't even get started on their road to success. They want to be perfect, but you need to just get your stuff out there, get feedback and start to tweak. The countless fit pros that I talk to who are like, writing a book and they started writing it like 3 years ago. And they just don't want to get it out there for the fear of what people will think. And that's going to really hold you back. So I'm super retired right now. I'm trying to keep my energy up, but we're going to get this thing out and, we're going to change some lives. That's the goal, to help as many fit pros as we can move forward so that they can actually create the lifestyle that they want. One of the big reasons that I'm doing this and one of my stances on the industry is that the training companies, and I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here, AJ, but the training companies do a really super bad job of teaching marketing and sales. And so trainers are put out into the industry really passionate about what they do, but they're unable to market and sell themselves. And so they're generating income which isn't in line with what they expected when they first signed up. And so I'm out there to serve as many fit pros as I can and help them create the life that they want.
Absolutely. I mean, there's no reason whatsoever that a fitness professional shouldn't be making at least 6 figures a year. Absolutely no reason whatsoever. And, we're really going to go out of our way to give you a simple plan, to give you the foundation so that, every single week you can move towards your goal, whether it be income, whether it be lifestyle, whatever it is. We want to be the source for you to go to get the answers. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to give everything we know. We're not going to hold back. We're not going to, try to trick you into listening and then shadily sneak in a sale for something. We always going to have other resources available to you. We're going to make offers because that's what we do, and we want you, for those of you who want more in-depth training on want more help personally from us, we offer that, so that will be there. But like I said, we're not going to hold back. We're going to go all out. And what I want to do, Simon, actually is to give them an example. Obviously, we talked about the podcast being an example of massive action. And some people listening may want to go and launch their own podcast, which I think would be a fantastic idea. But, some people may not. But let's talk about something you did last year, because you were actually out here this time last year. You were over here for the underground and you stayed with me then. And back then we had the info product together. before we sold it. And it was Super Bowl Sunday, just like it is today. And you put together a promotion literally, and almost right now, there's about 2 hours to the game kickoff. I think that's about the time you had. And you just wrote an awesome blog post on that. So why don't you just kind of recap what happened and, just to show again another example of massive action and how it really makes a big difference.
Yeah, so I started off with info products back doing the Lunchbox Diet, which was my 13-page ebook, which turned into a 6-figure book deal with HarperCollins, and then I built a digital product suite around that. But when I started coaching other people and building other businesses, Paleo in a Box, which is Justin Lord's product, which kind of really took off. This is the product which I was involved with and AJ around this time last year. And, funny that the Super Bowl is on today, kind of everyone's raring up. To be honest, I don't even know the two teams that are in this year's Super Bowl. In fact, when I was sat in San Diego and the Super Bowl promotion came on, I'll be honest, I'm not terribly into it, but I was kind of watching. I don't have a clue how the game is played.
I'm more interested in the advertisements.
Yeah,
that's why I watch the Super Bowl. But now YouTube has them all, so I don't even have to watch the game.
Beyonce shaking her booty, I'm all for. But in terms of the actual game itself, no. But anyway, so the Super Bowl promotion came on, and I had this split-second idea to run a promotion. And if you know anything about running promotions, we need to make them time sensitive. There needs to be a reason for. And so the Super Bowl came on, and I thought, what a great promotion to run during the length of the Super Bowl. Now, the product Paleo in a Box is for CrossFit athletes, those that want to improve their nutrition with CrossFit. And so the Super Bowl came on. It was due to come in a couple of hours, and I was like, why don't I run this promotion? So I crafted an email and sent this email out. And obviously, when you run a promotion, you just don't know what the effect is going to be like. But I sat back and we ran the promotion on social media, and we sent the email out, and then suddenly the sales just started to come in and in and in and in. And so the reason that I wanted to tell that story and why it's so relevant in this podcast, and we're talking about creating a podcast and moving into an action, is that, guys, what you really need to understand is that no, you're not going to generate any income if you don't move forward on the ideas that come into your head. Okay, so once you generate an idea, the next logical step is to put it into action. And most people fail at that point because of fear, because of it not potentially working. They might look silly. And so if I could have had that idea and just blown it off and go, it won't work. But the idea came to mind. I crafted the email. I had about 2 hours to do that. Hit send, and we probably generated a good 10,000 plus in sales just from that one email of a couple thousand email lists. So it was well worth doing. And in fact, that same promotion can be modeled year in, year out. So as much as there's more in-depth parts to an info product and running promotions, the real lesson there on a baseline level is to move forward on the ideas that come into your mind, because these ideas can actually be worth thousands, if not tens of thousands plus.
Yeah, what's funny is it was a Super Bowl promotion, and I think because we hadn't planned anything, it was almost last minute, and there was a thought to maybe not do it. This is, we're gonna have to crank this out. It might not be hard, but once we kind of got past the resistance and said, you know what, what's there to lose? Either it won't work and we'll be at the same place we were before, or it will work and we'll make money, and which we did. And like you said, it can be repeated every year on Super Bowl. But beyond that, the concept of a event promotion can be used any time of the year. It could be St. Paddy's Day, Mardi Gras, Easter. There's so many national holidays that we don't take advantage of. And in fact, if you search online for holidays or national holidays, there's nearly a holiday every single day. And I just wrote a promotion for Marketing Genesis, which is another company I work with. And we used, it was Chocolate Cake Day. We used that in one of our promotions to announce something being better than chocolate cake. We wished everyone a happy Chocolate Cake Day, and then went on to explain why what we were talking about was better than chocolate cake, which some people saying, nothing's better than chocolate. But besides the point, the real concept here is that, events, you can run promotions, ideas come in the blink of a second, and it's about capturing those ideas and moving forward as quickly as you can. And I think that that's where most people, they screw up. They have an idea and they put it on the back burner, and years go by and it's still on the back burner. So if you get anything out of, this, it's really like anything you have in your mind, write down and start figuring out how to take action immediately on it. And so here's one thing I've learned, and Simon, you may be the same way. When you don't throw any ideas out there, nothing happens. When you throw as many ideas out there as you can, they don't all get done, but something happens and you move forward. And I think that is the real secret, is that the successful people are always going with as much stuff as possible. Some stuff sticks, some stuff doesn't, but that's the difference. They're moving forward while you're still and ahhing about getting started.
And you should be looking forward to failing, because every time you fail, you learn something new. And so the fear of failing should be a positive, not a negative, right?
Absolutely. The faster you fail, the more success you're going to have. And if you go back and you look at any of the mega successful people, and Richard Branson's one of my favorite people, the amount of times that guy's failed, and look at his success. Same with guys like Steve Jobs. When he was here, his story is fascinating, and we could go on and on. But long story short, don't be scared of failing, move as fast as you can, and, you're going to end up with something much, much better than where you're at right now.
Definitely. Now, moving on, the whole central core of this Fitpreneurs is to serve our community. And I know AJ posted on his Facebook page today and asked some questions in terms of, what did you want to know? And so we've got a couple of questions we're going to answer here. And I think, AJ, you'll be a good one to answer this first one from Brandon Long, who asks, what would you say is the best way of building a tribe of loyal followers?
There's so many ways we could go about that. What we're doing is an example. So if you want something to model, you can just look at what we're doing with the Facebook page, with the podcast, with the email list that we're going to be building, and serving the community you want to serve. That's how you build a tribe of loyal followers, is by providing value beyond what they could ever expect. All right. So that's our mission here. And that's really the best way that I know and that Simon knows in order to move forward. But it comes down to what the truth of the matter is. What it comes down to is results. All right. Are you able to get other people results? And so if you're looking to build a tribe of loyal followers, let's say in the fitness industry, what it's going to come down to is how fucking good are you at what you do. If you are a kettlebell fat loss expert, how many case studies do you have? How many people's lives have you transformed? Okay. And the way you go about that and the way you get massive success in that area is making sure that you know everything possible about the client and your craft. All right. So you not only have to be an amazing trainer, but you also have to be an amazing communicator with your audience. Okay. And so the people you're training, you should know everything that's affecting them moving towards their goals. First of all, you need to know what their goals are. So if any of you are listening and you're a trainer or a gym owner and who hires other trainers, whatever it is, if you do not know exactly, specifically what the goal is of your client, then you're never going to build a tribe of followers. All right. The way you go about it is knowing everything you possibly can so that you can provide everything that person needs. And it doesn't have to be you that provides all those things. You can always refer out if there's things that aren't in your wheelhouse. But that's what you do. You get the biggest results you can for the most amount of people, and you just watch how loyal they'll be. All right. Because they're going to, whenever someone says, hey, do you know someone who can help me lose weight? Or, hey, you lost like 50 pounds. How did you do it? The first person they're going to talk about is you. All right. And so when you do that, you create this loyal following because you believed in them, you empowered them, and you gave them everything they needed to get to where they wanted to get to. And so at the end of the day, it comes back down to communication. It comes back down to relationships. But more importantly, it comes down to results. All right. And so, if you don't get results for someone, they're not going to follow you. And the tribe comes from word of mouth, like person telling another person. It comes from you showcasing that. and sharing those stories. It comes from you helping more and more and more people. And eventually there's that tipping point where it basically, boom, overflows, and, you just popularity, everything, income just explodes because you've put in the work in the beginning. And so in terms of building a tribe, you always have to think long-term, not short-term. So you have to be invested in the long-term with them. And you have to think about, how do we build a community? How do we build an environment that these people aren't going to want to leave? And I talk about this a lot when I do my seminars. If you want job security, or if you want to, not suffer with all the new gyms that are popping up, it seems to be a gym opening every week, and they're almost like Starbucks now. There's a gym here and there's a gym there, and you're basically within walking distance. If you want to survive that, you have to create a place that people don't want to leave. You want to create a place that people want to bring their family to. And so you have to go and do events, like potlucks and disco nights, and there's all these things, and some of the other fitness professionals in the industry have done a great job with that. But that's how you build a tribe. You have to look at it as a family. You have to look at it as people who you are actually invested in. All right. And if you do that, and you serve, and you come from a place of passion and love, and not from a place of, how do I get these people to give me money? That's when you start to realize that, hey, we got something special here, and people are following, and we can do some amazing things on a massive level.
Definitely. And, when you generate results, you also build trust, and trust is a massive way to build not only a tribe, but a tribe of loyal followers, because when you have trust, everything else flows together. Now, of course, you need to be able to list build, you need to be able to generate traffic, and these are things that during the podcast we're going to be touching on, definitely on how to really start to build more of a community. But AJ makes some really important points there. Now, I know we are not running out of time, but we are kind of moving quite well through the first podcast. AJ, what time are you on? In fact, I didn't even...
We're about 34 minutes in, so we got some time here, but let's answer another question. I think, this one, either of us could answer, but I'll let you have at it. But Mark Hawkins asked a question about what strategy you use to nail down your niche market. And I think it's a very important question, because one of the biggest mistakes I see in the fitness industry is people trying to serve everyone, trying to be, jack of all trades, and basically provide services for every single client you could imagine. And I know in your PT Mastery course, you talk about this, as well as in your as well as in your other course. And so, if you want to go into this a little bit, I think it'd be a great thing to cover for this first episode. Definitely.
Well, first of all, I say to many fit pros who I talk to on my strategy sessions, I say, look, if you can imagine 20 personal trainers lined up against a wall, and each one of them is trying to get business. You have Mrs. Jones, who is looking for someone to help her lose weight. Now, the majority of people serving in a gym environment are helping people to lose weight. So, if let's just say, for example, Mrs. Jones is stared at the wall, and you've got 20 personal trainers lined up against the wall, and they're all marketing broad as, I am a personal trainer, I do weight loss, I do sports specific, I do, some rehab work, I do strength. What actually happens then when one trainer turns around and says, look, I'm the weight loss specialist? Well, even though the majority of trainers are actually teaching people to lose weight, just the positioning of that person who wants to market as a weight loss expert is going to draw that person in. And now the fear is that, well, you're going to neglect the rest of the market, but actually you will attract more people towards you. And so, a few keys to generating and finding a niche market is, well, first of all, what are you really passionate about, and who naturally is attracted to you? But, I asked this question in terms of, like, who would you sit up at midnight and want to write a blog post to? What really gets you fired up inside? Our friend Nick Unsworth talks about lighting that fire up inside of you. And so when you sit down to write content, like, who would you like to write to? But also, you have to base it on results too, because if you're passionate about a market, but you've not gotten any results in that market, then you're going to find it difficult to get more business. So if you match your passion with the results that you've already been generating, so that's a really good place to start when it comes to finding your niche market. AJ?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that people are scared of is that they don't want to, limit themselves to a certain type of person. And that's not quite what we're saying. What we're saying is don't target everyone. And so if you're going to serve, 40 plus age group, maybe women only, for weight loss, your message that you send out should be to attract those type of people. Now, it doesn't mean you can't serve other people, because you will naturally attract other people, but you have to find out what, makes you tick, because ultimately that's where you're going to shine. And sometimes you can look at like the people you enjoy training the most, the thing you enjoy talking about the most. But once you get that and once you focus in on it, and I think focus is the biggest thing most people are missing, is that laser focus on one specific niche. Once you get that and you move forward, you'll be surprised at how quickly it starts to fill up. Zach Evanish is a great example with the Underground Strength Gym. He has 2 gyms now, and he serves wrestlers. High school wrestlers is his biggest clientele because he writes to them, he serves them. That's who he wants to attract. Now, that doesn't mean he doesn't have other programs available, but that the people he's trying to attract are the high school wrestlers, and he does a fantastic job. People travel from all over the country to learn from him, and I think that that's what most people, if they can narrow down a niche, that'll start to really open them up in terms of moving forward in one direction. And go back to juggling many hats. You can have other niches that you work with. You just would market to them separately. So you never want to blend the niches unless it makes logical sense, like kettlebells and weight loss, or bands and strength training. So there's obviously going to be crossover at times. But in general, for example, myself, I was, 2-time world record holder in powerlifter, became a CrossFit athlete, competed in the CrossFit competition and finished in the top 20% in the world. And then I moved into bodybuilding. I don't try to blend those. When I go and talk to when I teach the CrossFit powerlifting certification, I talk about how they can incorporate it in CrossFit. I don't talk about how they can become a powerlifter. All right. When I talk to powerlifters, I talk about how to apply the principles and the conjugate system, which is the system that I teach, how to apply that to powerlifting. And when I talk to bodybuilders, we talk about how to apply it to bodybuilders. So there's always going to be crossover, but you can't talk to everyone simultaneously. You have to segment it, and when you separate it and you market clearly, your business is going to grow without a doubt.
Yeah, definitely. And you don't worry about, if you do go into a niche, that you're not going to be able to train other people because you like to train them. It's just that your marketing message is going to be different. If you have a big email list full of, people who want to lose weight and people who want to build muscle, and you've only built, for example, a big database of lots of different people, then you have to understand that if you're writing some content, for example, to somebody, then you can't go too broad. You need to really drill down and each, a woman who wants to lose weight and a guy who wants to build muscle, they've got completely different needs. Okay, there's completely different emotional triggers, there's completely different goals, and so we need to really start to drill down into specifically who we're trying to serve. Now, if you at the moment are thinking, well, I don't know what my niche is, then we're going to be setting you a bit of a challenge at the end of a podcast. But a small tip, right now when you're actually interacting with clients, is to just, irrespective of who comes in your maybe a consultation with you, just verbalize that you are the specialist in that area. So for example, a female comes to you and they say they want to lose weight, just say that you're the weight loss specialist. A guy that comes to you and says they want to build muscle, just verbalize that you specialize in helping them build muscle. And just by matching your service with their needs in terms of being a specialist, you're going to increase the chances of conversion and also be able to charge more.
That's a great tip. So thanks to Brandon and Mark for your questions. And if you want to ask us a question, head over to facebook.com, The Fitpreneurs, and you can leave us questions there. And for all those that joined us, we had the page up for maybe a week now. We already have 287 Fitpreneurs who have joined us there. So if you've joined us, thank you. And, share the message, share this with other personal trainers and bring them into this, because this is going to be something special, and you're going to want to share this with the people who could benefit from the most, because trust us, we got a lot of awesome stuff planned.
Absolutely. And what we're doing next, AJ, I think we're going to be going into our super quote. Is that right?
Yeah. So Simon has a quote of the week. We're going to go over it, and then I'm going to give my thoughts on this.
Okay. Now you have to guess who is saying this very famous quote. Okay. The mind is the limit, as long as the mind can envision the fact that you could do something, you can do it. As long as you really believe it 100%.
That was funnier than when you did it before the episode. So for those of you that didn't get that with Simon's pitch perfect voiceover there, that is a quote from Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I'll read it again just in case you...
Or is it 9mm?
I'll read it again just in case you were laughing like me during that. It's the mind is the limit, and as long as the mind can envision the fact that you can do something, you can do it, as long as you really believe 100%. And, this is the motto I live my life by. And I just saw this quote, but I believe if the mind can believe it, that you can achieve it. And I've always said the only thing that stops you from getting whatever you want in life is that you don't truly believe it. I've said so many things in my life and had people turn around and said, I'm absolutely nuts. Simon can do attest to the magnitude of my goals and the insanity that comes out of me when we're planning and plotting and coming up with ideas. But I know that I can do it, and I don't need anyone else's approval. And Arnold, his story is fascinating. And here's another example of someone who just sets outrageous goals and goes for it. And I want to challenge you. This is an extra challenge. We're going to have another challenge there. But I want to challenge you to set outrageous goals that you truly can believe in and watch what happens. Because once it's in the universe, some magical stuff happens and you'll move towards those. I have set so many goals and blasted through them. And sometimes, the thing with entrepreneurs, and Simon, I know that you will agree with it. The thing with entrepreneurs is we set huge goals, we achieve those goals, and then we set new goals. So we never actually seem to, we never stop, just be happy because we're always setting new goals. And so something I started doing recently, I got this from Dan Sullivan. He calls it the reverse gap, and I saw it through Vishen Likliani shared it. But the reverse gap is basically when you stop and take check of where you were 2 years ago and where you are now. All right. And when I look back and I look where I was 2 years ago, I was 320 pounds. All right. And now I'm 230 pounds, 90 pounds away, 90 pounds down. And that's just my fitness. If I look at my business, and so we can continuously do this, but I set outrageous goals and I go for them. And the reason I achieve them is because I believe 100%, business wise, I wasn't in the best place. And now, business is booming and I'm traveling all over the world teaching seminars, both fitness and business seminars. I speak on stage at some of the biggest conferences in the world and, work with the top people in the marketing industry. And those are things I set out, and I have journals from back in the day, and I read them, and it's exactly how I put out. No one believed in me but me, and that's all that matters. You just have to believe in yourself. And I know, Simon, for you, your journey over the last 2 years has been fascinating as well.
Yeah, I think all of us are in personal growth. I don't feel that I can serve the fit pros that I help if I'm not growing myself. If I just stop and go, well, I'm not going to study more, if I'm not going to invest in myself, then what's the point? Because I can only take a fit pro to a certain level. So every time I break through my own boundaries, then I'm able to serve on a higher level, and we should always be growing. Something I made a show note to talk about when I decided to jump out of a plane, because that was a fear for me. And the start of Arnold's quote, "The mind is the limit." I had a fear of jumping out of planes. And so I decided that I was going to jump out of a plane, not because I just wanted the experience of it, because it was a fear. And I knew that if I got over fear, that would push me to the next level in other areas of my life. So without thinking about it, I was in Vegas and I was like, right, this would be a great place to do the jump. So I just booked it. I crapped myself for a week. I was talking to so many people, trying to find reasons why I shouldn't do it and looking online. I even went as far as looking online into recorded deaths in the state of Las Vegas in skydiving. How crazy was that? That's not going to help me. But I did it. It was the most amazing. I would recommend it to anybody to just book a skydiving and do it. But you can actually read and see the video of me crapping myself pretty much at my blog, simonlovell.co.uk/blog. Find a blog post about me jumping out the plane, and it's not me screaming, okay? The video, at the point where I jump, there's actually a female rugby player who goes, ah, for a very long length of time. That isn't me. It is actually
that was a great voiceover they added, and really added a dramatical effect with that scream.
Yeah. So yeah, check out the blog. I mean, it's like you'll see me, like my face is just like I've got so much fear there, but I'm so glad I did it. Would I do it again? Absolutely. And so this is just about stepping out of your comfort zone and doing things which are uncomfortable.
I wanted to go skydiving forever, but there's a weight limit on it. You got to be under 250 pounds. And so I'm going.
Well, you would have dropped pretty fast in your original weight.
I know I would have probably dropped very fast. So I'm actually going for my birthday coming up, but it was a little bit inspired by you because I realized that, I've been under 250 for a little bit now. Haven't taken action on that. So that's on my bucket list. That's something I'm going to do. So that's all set up. I'm ready to go there. So I'm looking forward to jumping out of a plane and hopefully not plummeting to my death as well. All right, let's get to the weekly challenge.
Okay, so weekly challenge. Maybe there's going to be a little bit of a weekly challenge, like voiceover thing. I don't even know if we're going to have that or not, but maybe it is. If not, you just hear the sound of my voice. So
yeah, we'll get you doing little jingles every week.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be my new career. So the weekly challenge is to pick your niche, define who you want to serve. Okay, find that audience that you really want to serve. Think about, who do I love working with? Who have I gotten the most results with? And who would you sit up late at night, at midnight, writing a passionate blog post for? That's a really good sign of the niche that you want to go into. So pick your niche, and what we want to do is have you comment on the website over at fitpreneurs.com. Also, just let us know over at the Facebook page on the niche that you've decided to go into. And we just want to really hear about your results. Also, we would love to get your review over on iTunes. Okay, so much of the success of this podcast is going to be from the feedback that we receive from you. How do we improve it? Is there less screaming from me? Is there, do you want AJ to talk a little bit slower? So we want your feedback. Look, in all honesty, we want to make this the best podcast we can possibly make. So your comments and the ratings that you give us are really important to us.
What's funny, you mentioned about me speaking slower. I listen to all my audio and video on at least 2x, and I just recently got up to 3x with some of it. So I'm speaking really slow in my mind. You're
really quick.
I know. And what's funny is also, I'm dieting hard. I'm doing my first bodybuilding show March 15th. So I'm 0 calories right now. I've been 0 calories for the past 11 days. Had 1 day of carbs, and then so not 0 calories, 0 carbs. 0 calories, I wouldn't be living, but 0 carbs. So I've been 0 carbs 11 days. Before that, I had 1 day of carbs, and then before that it was 21 days no carbs. So I pretty much live on coffee and energy drinks.
AJ is not grumpy whatsoever when he's not had anything to eat. Just if you happen to meet AJ when he's not had anything to eat, he's the nicest guy.
Yes, I'm the nicest guy. Everything Simon says is a lie, and I wouldn't trust him at all. No, I'm just kidding. He's a great guy. All right, so leave us your comments on iTunes, and if you have ideas for the show, let us know. We're always interested in that feedback, and we do take what you say to heart. So go easy on us if you are not a fan. We would appreciate that. So what's coming up? What's coming up on the next episode?
Next episode, we are going to be teaching you some of the top laws of marketing, and we will lock you up in jail if you do not attend that next podcast. Because there are lots of secret strategies and things that you need to know, and they are the laws of marketing, and we're going to be covering those in the next podcast.
Absolutely. We're going to go through the things you really need to know in order to move forward. And I think that we've kind of, we're cheating because we already know what's coming up. But these are principles that you're going to want to install into your business as soon as possible. So we'll make sure we get that out to you guys as fast as possible. If you want to connect with us, you can get a hold of Simon at simonlovell.co.uk or look him up on Facebook. It's facebook.com/boylovell.
That is boy Lovell, not boy love, because that could have a different connotation for that. So.
Exactly. And if you want to get a hold of me, ajroberts.com or facebook.com/ajroberts.
Good stuff, guys, and we look forward to seeing you in the next podcast. Anything you want to finish with, AJ? Did you want to finish up with that?
At the end of the day, it's all about massive action. We move forward on this, and hopefully we've inspired you to move forward on something this week. Let us know. Give us your feedback. Tell us what you're up to. We want to hear from you. We're there to talk to you, communicate with you. Don't be scared to reach out. We would love to hear from you and know what you got going on. So we look forward to speaking to you. If we don't speak to you before then, we'll see you on the next podcast.
We will see you next time. Goodbye.
Guys, thanks for the killer episode. Listen, if you want to take your fitness business to the next level, terminate your competition, create ultimate freedom, buy new houses, cars, which could blow up, travel the world, or open your own gym where you can lift really heavy weights, then head to www.thefitpreneurs.com/free call for details on how to apply for your free accelerator call. Until the next episode, hasta la vista, Fit Pros.